Xiangqi, Chinese, Xiangqi, pinyin. Xiangqi, commonly known as Chinese chess or elephant chess, is a strategy board game for 2 players. It is the most popular board game in China. Xiangqi is in the same family of games as shogi, zhanggi, Western chess, chaturanga, and Indian chess. Besides China and areas with significant ethnic Chinese communities, this game is also a popular pastime in Vietnam, where it is known as co tuong, literally, general's chess. The game represents a battle between 2 armies, with the primary object being to checkmate the enemy's general, king. Distinctive features of Xiangqi include the cannon, pow, which must jump to capture, a rule prohibiting the generals from facing each other directly, areas on the board called the river and palace, which restrict the movement of some pieces but enhance that of others, and the placement of the pieces on the intersections of the board lines, rather than within the squares. Xiangqi is played on a board 9 lines wide and 10 lines long. As in the game Go, Wai Chi, or Wai Chi, the pieces are placed on the intersections, which are known as points. The vertical lines are known as files, Chinese, Lu, pinyin, Lu, road, and the horizontal lines are known as ranks, Chinese, Xian, pinyin, Xian, line. Centered at the 1st to 3rd and 8th to 10th ranks of the board are 2 zones, each 3 points by 3 points, demarcated by 2 diagonal lines connecting opposite corners and intersecting at the center point. Each of these areas is known as gonggi, a palace, dividing the 2 opposing sides. Between the 5th and 6th ranks is He, the river. The river is usually marked with the phrases Chu Hai, meaning river of the Chu, and Han Jie, meaning border of the Han, a reference to the Chu-Han War. Although the river, or Hanchu boundary, provides a visual division between the 2 sides, only 2 pieces are affected by its presence. Soldiers have an enhanced move after crossing the river, and elephants cannot cross it. The starting points of the soldiers and cannons are usually, but not always, marked with small crosses. Rules. Xiangqi is a common pastime in Chinese cities. Beijing, 2005. The pieces start in the position shown in the diagram above. Which player moves first has varied throughout history and from one part of China to another. Different Xiangqi books advise either that the black or red side moves first. Citation needed. Some books refer to the 2 sides as north and south. Which direction corresponds to which color also varies from source to source. Generally, red moves first in most modern tournaments. 1. Each player in turn moves 1 piece from the point it occupies to another point. Pieces are generally not permitted to move through points occupied by other pieces, the exception being the cannon's capturing move. A piece can be moved onto a point occupied by an enemy piece, in which case the enemy piece is captured and removed from the board. A player cannot capture one of their own pieces. Pieces are never promoted, converted into other pieces, although the soldier gains the ability to move sideways after it crosses the river. Almost all pieces capture using their normal moves, while the cannon has a special capture move described below. An instance of checkmate that assumes the cannon is safe and black cannot block the check. The horse is not needed for this checkmate. The game ends when one player checkmates the other's general. When the general is in danger of being captured by the enemy player on their next move, the enemy player has delivered a check, Zhao Zhang, Zhang Jun, abbreviated as Zhang Zhangyi, and the general is in check. A check should be announced. If the general's player can make no move to prevent the general's capture, the situation is called checkmate, Xiangqi. Unlike in chess, in which stalemate is a draw. In Xiangqi, it is a loss for the stalemated player. In Xiangqi, a player, often with a material or positional disadvantage, may attempt to check or chase pieces in a way such that the moves fall in a cycle, preventing the opponent from winning. While this is accepted in Western chess, in Xiangqi, the following special rules are used to make it harder to draw the game by endless checking or chasing. Regardless of whether the positions of the pieces are repeated or not, a player making perpetual checks with one piece or several pieces can be ruled to have lost unless he or she stops such checking. A player who perpetually chases any one unprotected piece with one or more pieces, excluding generals and soldiers, will be ruled to have lost unless he or she stops such chasing. If one side perpetually checks and the other side perpetually chases, the checking side has to stop or be ruled to have lost. When neither side violates the rules and both persist in not making an alternate move, the game can be ruled as a draw. When both sides violate the same rule at the same time and both persist in not making an alternate move, the game can be ruled as a draw. Different sets of rules set different limits on what is considered perpetual. For example, Club Xiangqi rules allow a player to check or chase 6 consecutive times using one piece, 12 times using 2 pieces, and 18 times using 3 pieces before considering the action perpetual. 2. The above rules to prevent perpetual checking and chasing, while popular, are not the only ones. There are numerous endgame situations.